All right, we are recording.
Hello and welcome to a very different setting here at Night School RPG. We are your Night School faculty. Michael Vasquez here, usually posting as DM. I'm also joined with our players from our Intrigues of Etfor Isle campaign, Elizabeth Vick, Catherine Flores, and Joshua Hovda. And we are here actually testing out a new brand of content that we're actually going to be calling Off the Table. So a little understanding of why we're doing this. This whole adventure is for us to find a way to stay connected with what we're doing as a channel. These are really interesting and almost troubled times every day as a challenge right now as we're going through this COVID-19 kind of quarantine. And we know that our goal is not feasible to get content out to you every other Friday in campaign form. So this is really just a place where we're going to be able to talk about hot topics of the gaming culture community that's on right now, and also just find a way to connect with you, our audience, about what we're currently going through and what our plans are for the channel. So thank you very much for tuning in. We hope you pull some gleams of insight from this, and just thank you very much for your continued support.
And I think this is going to be really important because I feel like so many people's lives have just kind of been uprooted by this whole thing. I feel like people didn't really understand how much they valued their routines until this happened. And now all of a sudden, everybody's job has just been completely changed. I feel like all four of us, our lives and our jobs have just completely moved to the internet. And it's just, we've learned so many new technologies and we've tried so hard to make that technology fit into all of the different areas of our lives. And sometimes it just doesn't fit. And that's been really frustrating, for me at least. I don't know about you guys.
No, I totally agree. Even just like normal work-wise, it's not something, the technology we're using now is not something we used on a regular basis beforehand. So it's been a rough learning curve for everybody.
I think what's kind of interesting is that for me personally, the technology, I've never had techno fear where something throws me. I'm like, I don't want to try this. That part is not the disconnect I'm having going through this. It's that even through technology, what my intentions are for projects don't feel the same. And that's even beyond the channel, even my work life. The things I want to do don't feel right. And that's where I'm stuck at right now.
Yeah, and I feel the same way. I feel like there are so many, for example, like in my particular job, there are branches of it where they only do services online. And that's not the line of field that I wanted to be in because I love that face-to-face interaction. It really just makes everything so much easier for me personally to feed off of body language and just people's like physical energy. Just makes a big difference in how you interact with them. So it hasn't worked as well as I wanted to, like in work and then also in personal life. Like I know that we're making a really big effort to kind of meet all the time and stay connected personally. But it's very different. It's not exactly what I want.
It's a new normal.
I hope it's not for very long.
Well, yeah.
It is. I have heard that saying, this is the new normal, and I love change. That change, it terrifies me.
It does.
I don't want this to be a new normal because it is beyond an exact 180 of my lifestyle. It is offensive to me.
Well, no, but that's things I've read is, we're never going to shake hands with people again. This is going to completely change. I don't know that that's really going to be what happens, but it's going to completely change how certain things run.
You best believe all y'all are getting hugs. I think that's what I miss the most.
I didn't realize how
much...
I don't think I realized how... Oh.
Oh no!
I'm back.
She's gonna come back and tell us. Oh, there she is.
I was gonna say, I don't think I realized I don't think I realized how much I actually do need hugs. Like, I am not a hugger. Like, the 30 of you who are watching this, these
Newsflash.
3 people know I am not a hugger. But I didn't realize, even though they're not my preferred way of interacting with people, how much I actually need them and how much I miss them.
I think it took like 17 and a half years of knowing you before like I was able to like side hug you.
It's been 80 years.
No, but
So
I think just kind of thinking about that and how hard it's been in our personal and professional lives, it's really affected our hobbies and how we were doing this project, because this project it was every other week or more often we were getting together in person to talk or do something for this game. And all of a sudden we were, without even like any kind of warning,
Mhm.
it was put on hold, and we had to think of a different way of doing this.
To adjust.
Hmm.
which I think is really the background story that I I don't know if anybody can pick up that for the episodes we've already dropped, like at this point today when we're recording, we've dropped 3 episodes, and they were all pre-recorded. And it's not that our goal was to pre-record because we wanted to control the story. All the stories were improvised and we never know what's going to happen, but we wanted to make sure that we were able to have a bank of content that we could share, because this isn't
In
our
case we
first
could
job.
get together and record.
Well, honestly, because the whole point of night school is it started off as a hobby, the tabletop role playing, but it turned into something that really grew our friendship and extended upon what we already do. We are teachers, we are educators by day and by night, because it never stops. And right now, it seems like
Yeah,
it's
right now.
always
It really doesn't ever stop.
yeah, remote learning is really taking over every second of your day. But because we knew we couldn't devote 24 hours to this project, we wanted to make sure that we didn't let things fall through the crack. So it was that idea of having a bank of episodes we could put out, and if one of us was gone, if I was at a convention, if someone got sick, we could have that kind of grace period. And whenever we actually dropped the first episode, it happened to be on my birthday. And I remember we were so thrilled because we had spent 2 months basically preparing and recording and testing audio and setting up the room. And then when we dropped it, we had such a big response of the first episode. But it was also that exact same day that they announced that we're probably going to be in a lockdown soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, why now? Why of all days, not just my birthday, because that was offensive, but also why now are we put all this work in, and are we gonna have to stop? I thought this is the death of the channel.
Yeah, it was. I know I had a thought that day, and I remember we were all out celebrating. We went axe throwing to celebrate. We were celebrating your birthday, of course, but it was also like
I
we
went
were
axe
all so
throwing.
excited.
Oh, I straight up was celebrating episode 1. The
And
cookies were for my birthday.
I remember being there and getting the email that that work was going to be canceled
For a
and
week, just for 1 week. For the thought,
just
the
for 1
upcoming
week. But I think in the back of my mind, I knew it was going to be longer. Like, I knew that if it was getting to that point, it was going to be for a more extended period of time. And I remember thinking to myself, and I don't think I said it out loud, I was like, it's dead before it's even born. Like, we were killing it, or not we were killing it, but that this was over before it even got a chance to start. And it was really sad. I was still so excited. And I was excited that we had that backlog of episodes. But in my mind, I was also thinking, I don't know if we're going to get a chance to come back from this. Which I feel like we thought about it a lot of different ways where we could possibly come back, and then that we could record in a setting much like this, and we tried it. And I kind of want to get you guys' like real opinions or feedback on how that actually went.
Oh, I do too. Because I think it's drastically different coming from a player's point of view and a DM's point of view. And they might match perfectly, but I'm very curious on that as well.
So I think, I mean, one, it was it was players that we weren't maybe as invested in, or like I wasn't. Like it was a player that I had made for something else.
I guess that's
And
true.
Yeah,
I
so
guess
since we
let
tested
me
with a one-off.
yeah, we tested it doing a one-off just to see if the technology would even work. So we made kind of throwaway characters. It was still in the same world. But going into that, I think that that is an important part of it as well. Seeing if it worked or not. So sorry, Elizabeth.
no, you're fine. Well, and I think some of it was that. I think some of it was not being in person. Like even being able to see everybody right here is not the same as like the energy you get when you're in person. Because like I know my character was obnoxious. Um, and like in this setting, it's so easy to talk over one another or interrupt one another, and then it's just a jumbled, jarbled mess.
Mm-hmm.
which is exactly how I felt as the DM. Um, my planning for that, because we had waited quite a long time before we said let's just try it because we don't want to give up. And I at first the very first thought that came into my mind was I have so much free time that I'm gonna plan. And I remember texting you guys and saying I think I've planned the entire campaign for however long we want to go. I have every detail down. I had maps galore. I had characters, NPCs fleshed out. I mean, I felt like it was a gift, but I kept holding on to, we're going to get back and we're going to record on Sunday. We're going to get back into the studio. And then the more and more I realized it wasn't going to happen is whenever I thought we've got to try something, but I don't want to waste an episode that's poor quality or the story just doesn't feel right. So that's when I asked you guys, like, let's just do a one shot. Y'all made those characters on that day. Most of them were randomized. And I think it's that there's no buy-in in the character. It's once you know it's a throwaway character, it's a completely different kind of game, and it's not the kind of game we were running.
Mm-hmm.
But even on my side, as a DM, you have to be able to notice those cues of, are you still engaging in role play, or have you gotten to a point where it's starting to lull because you all are agreeing that you want the story to progress, and now it's my turn to step in. But I was so afraid of taking over the conversation and guiding y'all through everything that I was very hesitant to speak. And there were many times I felt like we're stuck. There's no way to move on. And it's a one shot. It's not like y'all have 4 or 5 days to figure out how to accomplish this one task. Y'all were stuck. And it brought the realism, the realism of our imagination to a point where I was like, this is absolutely boring for me. I would not want to watch this, and I don't want to play it anymore. I was tired of it already.
Yeah. And I think there's so much that goes into like being in person, because you really can, especially if you do get to a point where you are stuck, you can whisper to the person right next to you
Mm-hmm.
and like kind of out of the game and kind of figure out something to do. You can't do that in this setting. And I know that there are apps that allow for that. And we didn't try all of those, but I know that Michael, you have, and I know that that can help in some situations. But I don't feel like that's how we as a team play together. I don't think I would be able to do that through a text chat.
Right.
And that you mentioned that there are apps. I mean, it's no lie that right now there is a mass surge of people who are actually trying to put content of their games out on social media, and are that's wonderful. It's not like we're telling them to stop or I want them to quit because they're working against us. It's not. It's a beautiful thing that people are coming together in gaming through a platform that connects people in some way, because there's that desperate need to have connection right now. However, my first thoughts were, let me try Roll20, let's try Discord, let's see if this would work. And so I joined games, and every game that I played in as a player, I wasn't satisfied. Right now, I'm currently in a Discord game and a Roll20 game, and they both have great merits. The Roll20, I love the whisper action where you can type in a whisper to one person. The problem is, because of the technology side, it slows down play so much because people are wanting to roll digitally. So it's the time of typing in the command to roll, waiting for it to roll. The DM doesn't have that information because not everybody's using a webcam, or some webcams aren't as good as others. And there is a lot of time where you do feel like I am just sitting here way too long and I feel disconnected from the story. I even found myself getting up and walking around, doing push-ups, doing a workout of the day, turning, I mean, because I had time and I could just hear it.
And you had to do 550 in a week.
And we just did 550. So, you know, once again, Travis Willingham, I'm ready to do a workout.
But can you deadlift 400 pounds?
Yeah, I'm not there yet. I'm coming for it. But that's the issue, is that all of those kind of platforms for play, even playing through Zoom is what we actually tried to do. It just didn't work because someone started lagging, someone froze, and it was, well, are you saying something? Are you thinking? There are so many glitches that right away I thought this is not going to be a great platform for us to do our story at the quality that we want to do it. Mm-hmm. Saying that we have like a really good quality, because we work on a budget.
Well, and I think that's the thing too, is it's not so much that we were afraid of a drop in quality for the people who are watching. It's more for us, like for the sake of our continuity and our comfort level with the content we were putting out. I think we got really used to a certain level, and we wanted to keep it at that same level, and just the switch all of a sudden without any kind of notice was really difficult for all of us. And just kind of coping with that is where we are right now. I don't know. What do you guys see as far as like coming forward, or like what kind of things do you want to be putting out as content while we're waiting?
No, it's a tough one.
I just want to go back to playing.
I just want things to go back to normal.
I just want to find out what happens next.
Vic, part of the hard for me is that you came in as our new player, and this was you figuring out how to play, and we only had 4 episodes recorded. So one that went out yesterday, we have one that's coming out later on, and it'll be our last actually pre-recorded episode. And we've been waiting for like 4 weeks since we played, and we just want to move on. But I feel bad because of how we left, spoiler alert, but how we leave Vick's character, Kelnis. It's such a powerful moment, and you got to experience what happens when you play and invest in a character and something happens that you have to live with for a while, and you're sadly being forced to live with it for way longer
so long.
It's frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was all a dream.
Well, I'm really excited for us to have more conversations like this, just kind of more serious things. I know this one was just kind of an intro to where we are right now, and in terms of technology and just the world and what the limitations that we have put on us right now. But I think this platform really opens it up for us to have some of the more difficult conversations that we don't have while we're playing. It's more outside of the game, things about the game and how you can learn things about yourself while you're playing and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I know me personally, for in this kind of off the table platform or segment that we're putting together, I'm hoping that we're actually going to be able to get together fairly often and have conversations about even the things that happen in our breaks around our game, our planning sessions, our kind of business meetings, because it's a game, and no matter what, you can see the happiness of how we are together. There's always a stress level behind us. That's just what naturally happens in a game. Topics that I really want to get to later on, I do want to talk about character development and how you purposely play your characters, because I've met, now that I've played in multiple online games, I'm finding people who tend to love being that antagonizing person whose sole mission is just to mess with other people, versus somebody whose sole mission is just to make sure everybody's happy. And I'm so curious about, like, do you purposely make yourself certain characters, and why? But also I want to look at the dynamics of a group together. Like, how do you handle arguments at the table? How do you how do you keep it so that it's playful, it's fair, but there's still that give and take and understanding that it's everybody's faulted. It's a game. At the heart of it, it is still a game.
Hmm. I think that would be
Yeah, that'll be a fun conversation to have.
Well, and I think it could be really interesting, at least for me as a new player, because I haven't made that many characters. Or like my intention behind the characters I've made, like there was a certain intention, but there also hasn't been that many characters. So learning like the thought process other people go through when they create a character.
Well, you gotta start somewhere.
I think one of the things that I really am excited to talk about is kind of like those taboo topics, like things that are off limits during gameplay and why it. And I know that that rule doesn't go for everybody, and not everybody kind of follows those same rules. But like, I feel like we as a group have kind of it really is an unspoken set of rules of things that are allowed during gameplay and things that are not. And I would really be curious to see what you guys think those are and what rules you kind of follow based on who you're playing with. I think that would be a fun topic.
Which actually, I mean, at this point in time in our history, that idea of the word taboo, sensitivity, equity, all those diversity, inclusion, all those big ticket kind of social words, they do come into play in tabletop gaming.
Mhm.
And just because it's the word imagination and the fact that it's not real, the fact that you're with other people at a table does have an element of realness to it that you have to take into thought at least. And I agree, everybody's going to have a different take on it, so it'd be real interesting to kind of see what our take is and maybe what we're noticing from other players in other games that we're seeing either on social media, in our own lives, because there are many games I've been in that things have been said and I just kind of hold my tongue and think, if this happens too much, I have to step out
Mhm.
because I can't.
I'm really curious to see, like, also, like, yes, what you guys think, but also kind of opening it up to everybody else, like leaving comments about if they agree or disagree and why. I would love to have more of an open conversation with people about that.
Absolutely. So that's geared
Yeah.
to you, the viewers. Feel free. We want to hear your comments. So it's not going to hurt our feelings if you put something out there that is in opposition to something we said. This is a dialogue. It's a one-sided dialogue right now. But the whole intention is we want to have transparency of what's going on in our lives, and we want to find ways to connect with the gaming world. So please feel free. Respond to us. You can do something to us on social media. We'll have our handles in the comments are in the description box below. But yeah, stay in touch with us.
Who knows? We'll be doing this live soon.
Well, that's
See,
the
that's
hope.
another topic.
Yeah.
That's the other thing is, if it is the new norm, are we going into a live stream that's from house to house and we just have to change how we play?
That's true. We may have to. We may have to adapt. Oh, I hate change.
I can't say that because I love it, but man, it's really
This has
pushing
been a rough
I'm
change.
comfortable.
me.
Well, I think unless anybody else has anything to add, I feel like that was a really good conversation for our first off the table.
I think so.
I'm really grateful for y'all.
I just want to thank y'all. Yeah, I want to thank y'all for being part of my quarantine and just playing with you in general. Like what Vasquez was talking about. It's like, I know I say a lot of stupid things, but I don't play with y'all. I can say those stupid things.
I never called you out in this episode.
We have not called you out since we hit record.
I know I'll be judged, but silently.
No, but I mean, that's also things I'd like to talk about is, yes, this is our channel and we wanted to talk about the channel, but there will be moments for us to actually get to know each other a little bit better. I know these people pretty well, but that's because of the amount of time I get to spend with them in that intimate relationship kind of setting. With people that we can't see digitally, this might also be a chance for us to kind of share who we are as individuals and what drives us to play and kind of where we're sitting at, because we know that you yourselves are probably going through some stuff. You're coping, you're figuring out your new norm, and if one of us can have similar situations and kind of give you an anchor point to say, hey, we're there too, it's okay, we want to be there to connect with you. So if we have nothing else to say, I'd like to say thank you very much for tuning in. We'll hopefully see you sometime soon. Either check out our episodes that have just dropped. Episodes 1 through 3 are already on our YouTube channel. And as much as we said, I dread saying it over and over again because I don't like to nag. Please consider subscribing. Push that subscribe button. It's even though it's that small thing of having somebody retweet something on Twitter, share something on Facebook, subscribe to us. It helps in the long run because we can't get content out and connect if we're not allowed to get out. So please make sure you consider subscribing to us, and we'll see you next time at Night School.
And ring that bell.